direct your attention to the...
Come on!
Please direct your attention to the...
Come on!
Hey, crank up the volume and wake up the neighbors. Are you hearing this or what? Is your heart pounding with the beat? Am I getting through to you? Show me what you got. I'm counting on y'all.
It's a brand new day in Tokyoto. Headlining the news is the recent statement from Goji Rokaku on the graffiti gangs plaguing the city. Quote, "My Rokaku forces are on patrol in all major metropolitan areas to make sure these terrorists are behind bars where they belong."
Holy crap, I exist or something. Hello. What's going on? Folks who are here, otherwise not. How are you all doing? I apologize for not existing yesterday as I literally fell asleep as soon as I got back from work. Woke up an hour and a half late to stream and I was like, I ain't feeling that shit. So I didn't do it. But I'm here. I'm ready to do some more Phoenix Wright. I'm ready to keep it rolling. We're going to do what we can. Get as far as possible. Love you too, Potato. Thanks, bud. Much love, man. Good to see you. So, we're going to do some more Phoenix Wright today. Get farther in our trial, which we still need to get through. And yeah, so that's the plan. Hey, what's up, B52? How you doing, bud? Thank you for popping in to say hi. I know you're busy, so much love, bud. Thank you for taking the time. All right, so let me go and start this up. Hi, Pat. How are you doing, bud? Y'all ready for the next part of this? Boop. Hey, there we go. Honestly, your favorite emote, the head pat. Has both Ted and Pat in it. Hell yeah, dude. I'm still deciding what I want on for my fifth emote. I have no idea what I want to do for the fifth emote. Because, well, actually, I need two of them because technically the ZTHL is going to be retired to only Discord. And then, yeah. So, it's going to finally... Everyone got rid of our hyper emotes. I need a new one. Bro, I have hyper comfy. I mean, it's a Frankerface Z emote, but I have it. Oh, you wanted to, like, use it in other places. I hear ya. Also, Hyperpunk. Those are all things that exist. So, for those who do not remember what happened when we last left off, we found out through a fingerprint through a fingerprint dust thing that let us like ascertain fingerprints along with a list of fingerprints that we could match it with. We found out that our good old friend, my partner Jake Marshall, happened to be in the evidence room at some point during the whole ordeal with Officer Meekins when he supposedly got his ass knocked the fuck out. So we are about to bring out Jake Marshall onto the stand, onto the stand and see what happens. So I hope you guys are ready because I have no idea where this is gonna go from here. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lena, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. As per usual, Gumshoe, you always are. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. And he's got... Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh, oh, ho, oh, ho, oh, ho, oh, ho, ho. You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name?
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to borrow or to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident? For those who aren't aware, the SL9 incident is directly, supposedly, directly connected to the double murder that we supposedly have on our hands due to, number one, a memo found in the trunk with it, a second knife with that same tag on it, a fucking screwdriver with its tag on it, and a glove with a tag on it. Yeah, a lot of things have been having to do with this SL9 incident. Apparently, it was Edgeworth's first case. First big case, mind you. So, we'll see. But Lena, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness? Files for the Joe Dark killings solved 2 years ago.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what, now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Elena, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark... No, Lena! It's over with, no! Oh! Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
And he just leaves. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lena and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. To be continued, and by that I mean right now. All right, let's do it. Oh, that's cute. Very nice. Cool. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and save. And here we go. February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lena Sky. I didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Hey, partner. Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for a name, if you listen hard enough, if you listen hard enough, you hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? Never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct?
According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
The Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Get wrecked, Jake. Alright.
My job was to keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. On that bone orchard? Oh, that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time I went down. I'm just an instant traveling man, so if you're out of ammo this time, it's time I hit the trail.
Okay.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beer, but you don't see me complaining.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
It's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders.
Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Alright. Here we go. Just keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
You interred them?
Videos of nothing that aren't useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape.
If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes ought to be erased every 6 hours.
Each time I'd erase the tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life.
This guy's a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? What's up, Kai? How you doing, bud? See you sipping over there. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day. Alright. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
Desperados I know join the police force. Not too bad, have I been? I've been alright. Just hanging in there, dude.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime? Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
How does this guy avoid being fired? Okay. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism?
Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works.
That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. But he mentions it. Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? At the street side saloon. What were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat that parlor vangol spia pasta.
Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
What? That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, Did you not want to raise this year? Out of ammo, Officer Marshall.
That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back to the west, back west into the sunset.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Jacksons don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that.
Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Okay. What do we have to... Let's see. Who's 777? The sevens. Okay. Oh my god, that's so many people! Head Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, Witness Lena Sky, Emma Sky, Executive Investigators Damon Gant, Lena Sky, Head Investigator Bruce Goodman, Investigators Jake Marshall, Angel Star. Okay. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems. Anyway, if I remember right, I was at the Street Side Saloon at the time it went down. So what do we do to up the ante here? Okay. Okay. Can we present the... Can we present the card reader record in this case? In this part, maybe? We could try it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but... I don't think it's going to. No. Okay. 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 It was supposed to be make rounds 3 times a day. Didn't do that. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems. Anyway, if I remember right, I was at the Street Side Saloon at the time it went down. Instant traveling man. Okay. Alright, so this is the same thing. I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. How are we gonna up the ante, though? I don't think the security evidence is gonna help us. I mean, I guess I could present the old case, maybe? Maybe? No. Nope. Okay. A street side saloon at the time it went down. don't know what to bring up in this case. I feel like it's supposed to be this. But I don't think that's it. Made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. The room's so still, even time dies in there. Okay. I'm just trying to find what I can here. Okay. So he didn't do, right? For all that shaving he's supposedly doing. You did not set foot in the evidence room that day. Alright, so you used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence from the past. Yeah, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Okay. Sensor and locker handles cannot be seen. Well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Okay. There's gotta be something in this part. I feel like. You abandoned your police duty to get some noodles. So, I'm thinking it's something about this, but what do I present against it? Screwdriver's not gonna do anything. That's not gonna do anything. I don't have anything to, like, contradict the fact that he was saying that he went to a place like this. The only thing I have is this, which I know works, right? I know this is the thing I'm looking for, but they specifically said for me to not use that yet. So I'm trying to figure out what else do I do to, like... Okay. What am I missing here? Victim's memo from the car trunk. Okay. I think everything past the, like, before the testing fluid, I think is not what we need at this point. Maybe we present the fingerprinting set? No. That wouldn't do it. That's not gonna up the ante by anything, because it doesn't have anything to do with what he's talking about. Can I mean, technically I can throw this as a contradiction with the evidence locker, maybe? No. No? Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante, but how? How do we up the ante in this case? For him. Without just revealing the fingerprints immediately. Okay. What is Edgeworth on about with that? Let's see. Yeah, none of that is helpful right now. Like, I can't just throw out the SL9. I tried to already. I tried to throw out the SL9 incident, but it didn't work. E-card record? No. I mean, if we could figure out who that top one is, but I don't think he's gonna know. I don't think there's a way for us to. I mean, maybe I can just throw that out here. I could try it. Nope. It's not contradicting the statement, you know what I mean? We have to contradict something, right? So do we contradict the fact that it was his job to, like, to watch that shit? No. Can we do we have anything to contradict that he didn't literally do his job? No. Do we have something to contradict that there are two security systems? I want to see this part again. He used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence from the past. Back in the day, unlocked was a gold mine of evidence. Didn't know about the fingerprint unlocking mechanism. Good with machines. I can't even tell you how a bike works. It's the same thing. Sensors on lockers cannot be seen. It's well known that some of the detectives are unaware of their presence. Doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can we prove that he was not at the salon, or the salon? Can we prove that he was not across the street during this whole thing? The jar, maybe? I already tried the SL9 files on... I already tried the SL9 files on this. I'm gonna just try the jar because I don't know if it's gonna be a thing or not. I doubt it. No. I didn't think it was, but I just I know I can do process of elimination. I hate doing it because then I feel dumb for not knowing why I did it. You know what I mean? I like being able to at least have some level of reasoning for picking something, but I don't like the idea of just going through each one and hoping that it works, you know? I mean... Can we try the ID card record here? No. No. What can we do? Alright, so... Made rounds to me on the day of the crime. He didn't do that. He did not set foot in the evidence room that day. There's a rubber glove in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? I already did the evidence locker here, and that didn't work. Maybe? Nope. What am I missing? Gotta be... Okay. Map doesn't help. Crime photo's not gonna help. Victim's shoe won't do anything. Switchblade knife, maybe? Because, like, it's a weird one because he literally just, right here is like, if you don't got anything, bleh, you know? I think the thing that's throwing me off is this part. Before I use... Is that his glove? I do not think so. I could try it. But I don't think it is. Yeah. Come on, what am I missing here? It might be something really nitpicky and stupid. Dang it. Hang on a sec, chat. Sound will bleep out, or sound's gonna cut out for just a second. And one more time. There we go. Okay. Maybe the memo? No. Yeah, we're trying... So, the long story short is that we have a fingerprint showing that he was in the evidence room at some point. But we have to try and prove without using this piece of evidence that he was there. So, to security video? No. I have to use something that isn't the fingerprints. That's the problem I'm having. Maybe the evidence locker? No. Maybe, I was gonna say maybe start with the evidence locker. Yeah, the fingerprint set, maybe. Yeah, we could try the fingerprint set. Like, that's like the only other thing. No. Oh, nope, nope, nope. You needed to load, not save. Okay. Right, that's what I thought. I mean, I thought the same thing. But maybe we have to prove it some other via a different thing. Nope. Damn it. Trying to think, like, a way to prove that he was there. He looks like a protagonist. Well, let me tell you real quick, Pat. Basically, there was an evidence room where some shit went down, right? And somebody we don't know went in there and basically knocked out a security guard that went in there. And this guy took some shit and then left, right? So we found bloody fingerprints on a door in that evidence room, and they're his. And he's the one that is supposed to be, he is basically the guard of the evidence room, and he watches the security cameras. And just that day, the day of the crime that happened in there, he wasn't there. He just was not there, supposedly. Even though we have, does he have fingerless gloves? Fake cowboy. Well, we're trying, basically, we have this, right? Straight to say, you got it. But we have to, the game has basically told us, I have a trump card in my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. So we're trying to find a way to not use the fingerprint evidence yet to lead into it, basically. So I'm trying to find another contradiction somewhere in this that doesn't involve me using the fingerprints yet. And I'm having a real tough time with it. What's up, Sutwell? How you doing, bud? That's where I am right now. And I cannot, for the life of me, think of what I should use. Just forge evidence like Edgeworth does, right? Maybe the floor room plans? Nope. Damn it. Okay, so do we have a way to disprove that he was over there during this? From past case of Edgeworth's, no. You were stuck on this part for a long time, yeah. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? Made sure nothing moved in the security monitor. That room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the records. Videos of nothing useful. Erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, the tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Can we present the security video with this? Nope. Ugh. There's gotta be something really small and nitpicky about this. No? There's like something super, super small and nitpicky that I have to find. The room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. Did not know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Maybe? No, that doesn't... I've done this already. I tried the evidence locker with this, and that didn't work. Security video won't do anything. Okay. What am I going to do? Crap. Maybe... No. Ah, damn it. Do we have to... Can't think of a good way to, like, bluff it with what I have. I figured it was gonna be... Like, my initial thought was when he was like, if you're out of ammo, you know, like, when he's like, you're out of ammo or whatever. What's up, Troller? How you doing, bud? Like, that's... I thought I'd be able to just do the SL9 incident files. And then do it. But... like, when I tried it like this, it did not work. So, it's... I don't think it's that last statement. So I think it's somewhere... I think it's somewhere with this. Do we have concrete evidence of any kind, or anything close to it, that would disprove this statement? I really don't think so. It's Edgeworth's parking stub, which isn't gonna do anything. Because we tried everything on this page except the fingerprints for obvious reasons. How do we up the ante? I can try the knife. I doubt it's gonna do anything, but I can try it. Eh. I'm starting to think it's not that last statement that we need to focus on. Maybe this one? Made rounds on the day of the crime, which he did not. You know? Not set foot in the evidence room that day. There's a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do anything about that? Do not. I don't think presenting the SL9 incident files here will do anything either. No. I thought maybe doing the door and then going from there would do something, but I've already done the ID card record on this one, so that's not going to do anything. Maybe the ID card record on this? Dude, what am I missing? Either it's something blatantly obvious that I'm just overlooking, or it's something super nitpicky. Throw the rubber glove at him. Dude, I wish I could. I wish I could just be like, fuck you! Duel me! What do I do? Ugh. Oh, this one's super difficult. How do you... How do I not use the fingerprint evidence, but somehow lead him toward that direction? While trying to find a contradiction in this. I just can't find one right now. I know that he was there, but how do we prove that without the fingerprints? What's up, Pains? Did I already do the 4 plans on this part? I'm gonna try, though. Nope. These bloodstains show that things happened. Probably not on stream, at least right now. I have too much stuff I'm doing off stream and then for this, because I'd rather just spend my time and chill and do it off stream right now at least, while I still have to, you know, deal with stuff immediately after work. So God, I am just so stumped right now. What do we do? Supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but did not do that, right? Rooms protected by 2 security systems anyway. He knows about them, because he's done it before. Did not know about the fingerprint locking system because he doesn't know anything about machines. Am I checking out the Neo 2 test? I didn't play the first one. So, probably not? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't play the first one, so. Since the unlocker handles cannot be seen, it's well known that some of the detectives are unaware of their presence. Nope. God, this is... Dude, this is... I am so stumped. This has to be something, like, really, really small and nitpicky somewhere in here. It's got to be something really... Is it possible to not have the evidence you need? No. It is not possible to not have the evidence we need. Or to not have the evidence we need, yeah. So, it's somewhere in here. Unless it just wants me to do the fingerprints. I've been dodging them the entire time, specifically because the game said so. I can just do it. I can just do it and see what happens, I guess. I don't know. Alright, I guess we were supposed to do it the whole time. I don't know what you mean, game. Don't be doing that kind of thing. It's saying I shouldn't touch something. Alright, fine. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is. Make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? He's like, eh. Oh, hi, bye, Frames.
Frames, please, come back.
Come back. All right.
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime. Okay.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood-stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
The witness explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Alright, so from this point then... Alright, we're just gonna go through everything. That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective, the locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. Must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Okay. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. Okay. So then, what about the bloody handprint?
It wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened.
And how do you know that? The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why?
And why is that, then? Unrelated?
They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's gotta do breakfast while the other's atop of murder.
He's right. Although seemingly alike, they are totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this.
Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves?
How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports.
There was a blood stain at the scene thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. Fingerprint? Fingerprint.
Well, that's the only logical conclusion. Starting to get the picture, partner.
The picture?
This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards.
Eh?
There's only one reality, and that's this.
Security tape.
As long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video. I mean, what do you mean by that?
You want time into this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do I think I know one thing. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. I'm pretty certain I know what I'm looking for. Show us this incriminating evidence on the tape. I already see it. All right, ready? I want everyone to look right here. You ready? Just look right here. Yep. Mm-hmm. Falls out, yeah. Here comes Meekins. Meekins and him find each other. He throws the knife at him and they fight. Blah, 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 blah. And then stabbies. Right? See, it's still looking at that locker. Now he's gone, right? Look at the locker now. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
These days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone! What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order! It would seem that that's the only...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
Marshall?
Why's everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say open that locker. Now prove it.
Okay.
Fingerprint sensor?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
Get destroyed! I only got one word for you, partner.
No! Oh god, he got shot, I think. I think he's dead. Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself.
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Olay! Olay! Judge! I'm sorry, but Olay! Please answer the question. Judge, what are you doing? What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There was no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. It's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? He would have had to have been, like, here. This back-ass corner. Right? Oh, no. Behind the... No, he would have had to have been behind the Blue Badger, right? So, like, here. I guess there's also over here. But I feel like that's too small of a place to be? You know? But he would have been seen by anyone right here, right? Behind the Blue Badger would have been right here. And up here, I feel like the camera would have seen him eventually. He's over here outside of the room. Those are the only three places I can think of, in all honesty. Maybe? Would it be like right here behind the Blue Badger? I think? I'm not sure the positioning where they would want that, you know? I'm gonna try right here first and see what happens. I'm not sure if this is right, but I don't think it is. Officer Marshall was standing right here. He's probably not. Let's go ahead and do this, just in case things go awry. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Okay. Officer Meekins should have seen him in the evidence room. That means the only place he could have been would be... Oh! Never mind. Oh, if Officer Meekins had seen him, then I guess it would have been up here? Take that! Oh, was it didn't notice? I thought he was saying... Officer Meekins should have seen him in the evidence room. That means the only place he could have been would be... Okay. So... Well, like back here? I don't think that's right. No. Why is it the best team over this game? Because, you know, it works. I thought it was supposed to be like, maybe it is like right here.
Take that!
Well, I thought it was supposed to be the heck? Hang on a minute. Can I have my security tape back, please? Thank you. I mean, the camera only goes 2 places, so... It doesn't go into the back area over there? So I feel like there's only 2 places that Meekins would have not seen him then. The only 2 places I can think of are that back right corner, or literally right here. Or maybe...
Take that!
I was genuinely curious if they were gonna go that direction, but they didn't. Love it. Okay. Alright. Is it even possible to go down here? I don't think it is. You can try right here.
Take that!
Nope. Maybe he wasn't in the room? But he had to have been in there. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? I didn't try here, but I don't think that's right either. I mean, I doubt it, but... No? I mean, he had to have been in the room, right? Because if Meekins walked through here, he would have seen him here.
Take that!
No. What am I missing in this? Officer Meekins should have seen him in the evidence room. Why didn't he? I mean...
Take that!
Outside? I'm honestly not sure where they think he would have been. Inside his own locker? You big old dummies in the twisted nether. Dude, that's more, that's what I think. I'm gonna try down here.
Take that!
No. In the saloon. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just follow what he said, right? It was in the frickin' saloon, dude. Did I not select this up here right, maybe? Maybe it is over here.
Take that!
Really? Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. There was blood there, and that happened there. Hmm. Let's see. Maybe we can put it right here?
Take that!
Nope. Well, I thought he could hide behind the blue badger, was my guess. But I guess not. Blue badger's the only thing that would have been there at the time, unless I'm like missing the, unless they're being super specific about an exact spot, you know what I mean? Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Did I already try up here? I think I did. Maybe the ceiling? Maybe.
Take that!
Yeah, that's... He wasn't in there. And his own locker?
Take that!
No. Being ultra specific. Damn you! At first I was like, well, the only other logical thing would be he's not in it. Or he's this guy. Right? Out in the boundaries of space and time over here, right? Promptly. On the other side of the wall. What? What am I missing? Did I not? Maybe I didn't select it right? I thought it was gonna be this at first. Like, of course I didn't see him because he was this person. Right? Maybe I'm crazy? No? I mean, could have been. Weird. Where is Mans? I feel like it's being ultra specific about where he was supposed to be. I mean, I don't think it's right. No. Not many other places you can go. You just got like doors inside of doors. What, you mean like out here? Warped in. Right? I mean, the only things that are labeled. Yeah, I mean, I already did one of those. I already did the label for one. I already tried the first label, but this is supposed to be Meekins, the victim, right here. I mean, we could try it. I don't think it's right. Okay. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Damn it. Had it backwards again. Wanna know why? Because in this, Detective Goodman would have been the victim. Because in my head, I had it as Meekins as the victim, and that's not right. Because remember, this is supposed to be Meekins was supposedly the one that was the murderer. I had it backwards. Whoops. Correct. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. So I had it right, I just had it backwards. Okay. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous! Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When he entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. Huh? As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized that the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? Still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to bring a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beer, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Huh? I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. Shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Pat. We don't got time for logic here. We still go illogical as much as possible. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. Oh, I almost loaded. Whoops. All right, there we go. Okay. God. Wait, hang on. Go. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Why would the witness have to open his locker? I think it's for this. This would be the only reason right here. If I had to make a guess. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman. Damn it. Game stop. Oh, God. Hang on a second. Hang on, chat. Things broke. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Everything's fucking up. It's all fucking up. Okay, there we go. Oh, God. Hang on, we're almost good. Okay. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, partner.
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
It's like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
All right. It seems the time has come. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 515.
So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. I guess as he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay. When you say it, you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why
Okay. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
And so you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card.
I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Okay. Pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... Okay. So you did your research beforehand.
And those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner.
I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. What you're saying is, on that day... But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are either a valid solution or ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident, you know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Doc was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember that Joe Doc case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. Better take another look at the files. Alright, so... I know why. Yep. You want to see it right there? Look at the bottom right name. Oh boy. I do. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was a part of worked under them. We're desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Doc. My brother fought Doc and was killed. That was the first time Doc left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. I know I'd be fucked, yeah. He was arraigned and incarcerated. Case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Doc. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. This is your last yeehaw, partner. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what's happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. The Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lena Sky.
Objection!
But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection!
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
You read your last haul.
What's up, Low Fam? How you doing, bud? But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Also, murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lena Sky, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. I didn't realize that would end up proving Lena guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Oh, God. Emma, what are you doing? Emma, no! Your Honor, wait! Emma, the defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings. But she mentions it. The names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lena, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there any problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lena will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I've ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? I object!
Objection!
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. All this evidence here. There's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Is everybody ready? It's time for everybody's favorite blue badger, baby!
Take that!
What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? Huh? Ah! That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma! That afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in? Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. Balderdash! It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice! But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. Had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport is really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that it proves when it occurred. Did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? I'm pretty confident, but I'm saving anyway. What shows when the first crime took place? Slam it! Hello?
Oh shit, here we
go again!
Panoko,
Panoko, Panoko, Panoko, Panoko, Panoko, Panoko, Panoko. Thank you very much, Santi, for the tier 3 resub for 23 months. Love you much, bud. Have fun with your golden comfy. You shall be the most comfy. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. Means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining, 777777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number this 777777777. That's only 1 7. That's 1. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection!
But that's ridiculous! Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against is an... Wait, if an official charge filed... If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. There we go. Words. How do they work? Official charge. You're all like, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Yes. No, not to you. To her. The defendant's sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lena?
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. Is that, in that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Oh, hi, Lena. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we occasionally felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Huh? But, Lena, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. Before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look at me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did it, or that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. Just the way it is. We did what we had to do, or we did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lena! Even if it involved forging evidence. Oh boy. That's what I'm talking about. No! No! Order! 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 Lena's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Holy shit, dude! Oh, holy crap! Okay, this is actually super intense. Holy shit. That is insane. Oh, man. Woo! February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright and Co. law offices. So sorry, Mr. Wright. Sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. Did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was another name for the Joe Dark killings. It's like everyone heard about these killings but me. Nano wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? All there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? The night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. That means you... Yes. I was a witness in that Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Woo! Oh boy. Happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. That's fine. I mean, that means I have 2 more streams to finish it, which is totally great. If I can finish it in 2 streams, 10 out of 10, and we'll be ready for the next game on Saturday. Hey! And suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. So dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. Alright, Kai, have a good night, bud. I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. You'd still see it now. Permanent picture? What did you see in the instant the crime occurred? Drake knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lena was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. Been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. Tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. Drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. Must have been 14. It's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. Find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lena would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Yeah, that's why I decided to, and someone told me. Basically, Soma said on last Saturday that this trial was as long as all the other trials I had just done put together. I was like, are you kidding? I was like, there's no way. So I basically kind of abandoned most of, like, me doing, like, voice acting stuff for all the characters and just, like, doing my normal voice for most everything, or things that were easy. And then I just went from there, and just, it's been fine. I don't remember the moment when Drake stabbed Mr. Marshall. Why do I keep saying Drake? I think it's because of the E. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why Lena, she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lena forged the evidence. Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lena was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. Must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lena's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lena was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lena was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me! After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Oh boy. Just keeps on changing, doesn't it? Keeps on changing. Lena used to be a detective? Better have another talk with her. Right. Let's go. February 24th, Detention Center. Look, Lena. Mr. Wright. Seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. Didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lena, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lena, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? Suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright? A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well. Though I expected as much, I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. Trial really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lena. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. After that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lena. What the witness, Miss Starr, said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lena, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lena look so phased before. It's true. A member of the police force 2 years ago. He was amazing. You still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked at the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask him more about this investigation of theirs. Excuse me, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. Even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We're desperate for evidence. It was when his final murder took place. He tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. See, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us! Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, and then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lena? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, panicked. Picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her, after all. Her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, huh? Not as big of a coincidence as literally, like, all the other stuff that's happened so far. Like, good God. Just been so goddamn much. I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But the case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. Guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. Ooh! Oh, we are going, dude. We are going. All right, let's see what's going on in criminal affairs first. River 24 Police Station. See Detective Gumshoe anywhere? Seem kind of quiet around here today. Right. The DJ detective seems the same, though. Well, why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Okay. Police department entrance. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out the way. I never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Que seda. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should know my lucky run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Hey, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. What, Mr. Marshall? Why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I need to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with that broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, all right. But the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. Well, however, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. The facts have been concealed with forged evidence? In that case, left behind scars on all of us. Scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made a detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the King of Prosecutors? Knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. The day of the evidence transferal. Huh. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. Can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered. The evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. You all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. His star was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in the tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? Did something to him too. The commissioners would get suspicious. No, be careful enough not to be too obvious. Hey? Who are you talking about? Get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Land of Sky. Investigation lead, Damon Gant is second in command, Land of Sky.
There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers.
The case ended. Lena transferred to the prosecutor's office, right?
Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left.
Huh?
Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Scout was totally different when she was a detective.
Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister?
Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out.
In a secret. All started 2 years ago.
There you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner?
It was certainly enlightening.
One thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina.
Oh boy. February 24th, prosecutor's office underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. Must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lena look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lena. Gotta find all the answers by tomorrow. Okay. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. Took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lena admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. Guess we'll just have to come back later. Yep. Okay. Where do we go from here? Back to criminal affairs? Okay. Place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. Must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Oh, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do. About Mr. Edgeworth not mentioning our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go anyway. See you later. What the hell is this freaking office, dude? Holy crap. What? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I was a genius until they... I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me... What? Never could remember where C was. Huh? Oh, it's you too. Chief Gant. Put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, how have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Elena's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lena, Neil, and me. This is Mr. Marshall's brother, Neil Marshall, or Prosecutor Neil Marshall. You notice how there's a piece of the shield here? Look at this. It has like a sword on it. But the one given to Edgeworth doesn't have that. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Edgeworth got the pleb one, right? Not entirely impossible. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? This case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Well, now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. Means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? Gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Maybe Gumshoe knows a way?
Hey, pal.
Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting?
I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
From sitting so long?
Actually, from serving everyone coffee.
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop.
Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth?
Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask?
He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court.
Sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said?
That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? Not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lena Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she?
Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that.
But as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about... Damn it.
But as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth.
Oop. We'll just say that Gumshoe wanted to replicate Edgeworth's voice. It's fine.
His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this...
There are really so many people who hate him?
In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies.
Hey, Dick, keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Let's go out for lunch again sometime, my treat.
Yes, sir.
You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick?
Yes, sir.
Seems you don't have any problems with enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing.
Seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything?
The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack.
His final attack? You mean...
When he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl.
He... Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl.
That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay?
His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory.
Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman.
A businessman? What made him take to serial killing?
One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So it was an accident?
An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal.
An animal?
He killed the man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed the lady who saw the second crime. The kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came up to the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in.
Seems he was a pretty careless animal.
Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in.
Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. A good thing that last witness wasn't killed.
That last witness? AKA Emma. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and present the new knife. Or the crime scene, the other knife. About this.
Hey, is that?
It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 Incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of.
What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker.
The day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler.
That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me.
Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again! This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it?
That's right. He traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it, too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Oh, yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound.
Did it match Dark's knife?
You bet, down to the last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive. Okay. All right.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant.
It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. Chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay.
Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust.
Of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned.
Oh.
Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you.
How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's.
That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died.
Oh. In other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. What would make Detective Gumshoe change his mind? Maybe the photo? Okay.
I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal.
You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth?
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, the serial killer was on the loose.
Elena was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence to prove Words. Joe Dark guilty. Show him the Blue Badger! Guy almost made us lose the case today.
What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays.
It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. Have to admit, he's right though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. Possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. Okay. Maybe this? Oops.
Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day.
Oh, that, yeah. No, the attorney's badge! Detective, here's my attorney's badge.
You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men show their police badge. Nuff said.
I wish I had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice. So we have to show Detective Gumshoe something.
Oh, a lost item report, huh?
Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat. What's up, Soma? Sleepy Soma. How you sleeping?
Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know.
Master has such a cool ring to it.
That way, if I see it, the way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here.
Oh, a higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence.
About that jar. I think I've seen it before somewhere.
Somewhere?
Or maybe it's on one of those memories people have from previous lives.
Must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met.
Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me.
Chief Gant?
Where could I have seen that before?
Okay.
This ID card belonged to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number.
Oh yeah, that. This is the thing about the secret, or the number, yeah. What can we show him that he'll like? Okay. 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 Maybe I need to come back? Okay. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, Room 1202. Sheriff Edgeworth is back yet. There he is! Looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? Quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? You're up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Alright, let's go. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. The fact remains that fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth. I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. Not wrong. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that the case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. Picture? Something seemed strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend this one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on this ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends. Clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. Story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna present the picture and see what happens. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding is a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? Well, that was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. Story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Okay. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Those claims contradict each other! God damn it, Phoenix! Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born. I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. An ancient tale ends with a merchant at a loss for words. But it's our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. What else can we present to Edgeworth? Hell yeah, dude! Maybe we... no. Maybe we can show him this? No. I mean, the only thing we have now is this. Actually, we could probably go talk to Gumshoe about it now. Let's go see if we can... oh, well, that answers that question. Excuse me. Oh, hey. Hey, Angel. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Star! I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? Instantly, Lena stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Star's hatred toward Lena. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Go Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was even ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lena Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course they were led by that legendary duo. Lena and Chief Gant. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong. Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lena Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. You know, I always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lena Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. He was being used? Lena transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lena was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lena? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last. Finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listened to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. Hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Bro. Chief Gant, dude. Woo, boy. Orty. Yo, Chief Gant. Freaking controlling everything, dude. Damon Gant and Lena Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lena second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produce the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lena. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Star. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Can we show her the photo? I don't have anything else to tell you. The only thing I can give you now is a poppy seed rice set. Talk about cheap. Eat this and maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Okay, well. Back to the police department, I guess? Or no, we need to go criminal affairs first.
Oh, you're back.
You're still here?
I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ.
You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ.
I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line.
Office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. Have to take a look in there. Gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. Okay. Say, the design's based on an old Chinese parable, right?
Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon. Yeah, that's it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see?
That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting.
Anyway, gets kind of gory after that. I'll spare you the details.
Okay. Okay, so this is the murder weapon thing we already did. Yeah, so they're talking about this part again. Which we already talked about.
Hey, that powder's used for detecting fingerprints.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us.
He did what? All I have is some flour.
Are you okay, detective?
Quick, run! Achoo! If it's any help, one time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint.
Why am I not comforted?
I can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that.
You know Officer Marshall?
Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus.
Really?
He said, Dirt, to listen to all your troubles.
Note to self, the gumshoe talks to a cactus.
Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
So this is the... So you're looking at the case for Mr. Edgeworth?
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose.
Yeah, this is all that. Do we even have anywhere else to go or give or do? Can we show you the picture? Oh, come on. Damn it, Lena. Listen, Lena. You come here. Shut up. What can we show Gumshoe that would... The other murder weapon? Oh, yeah. This is the same. That's the same thing as before. Already shown that, shown that. That won't show anything. This won't show anything. I think we literally don't have anything. Yeah, none of this will help us in terms of that. No.
That's the ID card record, isn't it?
Yes, there's only one number left to investigate, at 4:20 p.m. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number.
777777777.
That's 17 too many, Detective. Executive officer. Just might have a hunch. Nope, you still can't talk to him about it. Okay. Already did that. 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 Did that. Did that. Did that. Did. What? Crap. I mean, I didn't think so, but you know, I was gonna try. All right. Maybe. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. You crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Let's distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Hold on, first let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look! What? Letter... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Wright? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. It's letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. That is what I need. That's gonna spring Gumshoe into doing something. Absolutely. I remember he said that he dropped something, but... Don't forget, if you need to cry harder, you can cry harder. All right, let's go. All right. Here we go.
What's this crumbled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious!
Is he ever not serious?
I can't believe they've pushed him this far.
Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible.
When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him.
Have a good night, Well, much love, bud. Phew.
That's it. I've made up my mind.
But
Here, take my ID card.
we can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report.
Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated.
What?
So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake.
All right, detective. Thank you. All right. Here we go. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Here goes, Mr. Wright. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner.
If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eek! Ah!
Sorry, thought you were a ghost.
I didn't even know you could slap a ghost.
Ah, Detective Gumshoe! What are you doing sneaking up on us like that?
I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came to.
If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket.
Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now.
You really do want to get fired, don't you?
Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Let's talk to Gumshoe first, and then we'll examine. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lena. On that day 2 years ago. Anyone using it now?
No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene.
That's a strange reason to leave it there.
He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time.
I see. He was just fucking drunk and like, alright, don't fucking do this or you'll die. And everyone's like, good joke, Chief Gant.
Was he serious?
It's like one of those jokes. It's like one of those things where you have a drunk person at a party. You're like, man, if you learned that, I'd have to kill you. And then they just keep looking at you while drunk. You're like, oh, that's a good joke. Wait. What? And then they just stare at you and you're like, well, guess I'm dead. Ever since Lena left, no one ever touches that desk?
No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning.
Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. I mean, you don't know that. Can I ask
you something?
Sure.
You only came in here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scene. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it?
Why do you ask?
You don't think? You wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more.
Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy.
Huh? What is it?
When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that.
Sorry. It's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you?
You two don't think. Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you?
What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. Finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet.
There you go, ignoring me again.
Alright, let's take a look around. First, start off with the incredibly incriminating safe. This is a safe, isn't it?
Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue.
Okay. If you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. Yes, I know what I'm gonna do! 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Input number.
Do you know what it is?
I have a hunch.
Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date? It's...
I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. If this is really the code, I'm gonna lose my shit. What an idiot! Bingo. What number did you enter?
Whose birthday was that, pal?
77777777. Final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day.
You mean 77777777? That ID number?
I think you're 1-7 shy this time. Oh, that can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? I will.
Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away?
Look, it's a
shard from a broken cup.
somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here, too. What's this? Looks like a piece of leather cloth. It's a handprint, isn't it?
Hey, I saw someone wearing that a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up that design?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it was just a thought.
Is that it? This all that was in that safe? Apparently so. It's empty now.
Piece of cloth with a handprint on it. And a broken shard from a cup.
Look like pieces of evidence.
Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here.
Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something we could show the detective. Well, I already know one. I know the easy one. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar?
I remember when the three of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days.
It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Isn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case?
That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it.
Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found?
You mean this one that was in the safe?
Yes, that one. That was in the safe.
Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits.
Sure. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this.
Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do.
Mr. Wright, here's some glue. The pieces together again. It'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Whoops. Rotate. There we go. There. It's like a charm. Of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But,
Hey guys, get a load of this.
what is it?
This piece you just attached. It's different from the others.
There's a reddish line on it. Reddish line. It's blood.
I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe?
Okay. So the other one was the... What was the other thing we found? Oh, yeah. Detective Gumshoe. I'd like you to have a look at this.
Hey, I know what that is.
That's a great idea, Detective.
All right, go to town. Sheesh.
What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that?
Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh? Come on.
Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe.
Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor?
Okay. Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. All right, let's get this over with. Oh, damn. Give it my best shot. This kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger then. Okay, probably this one. Damn, I almost got it on the first try. There we go. Wait, what? There's no way. What? It's Emma's? Okay, that's not who I expected that... Exactly. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. Aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, it's too bad. Thought they'd be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey, you. Over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe?
Don't ask me. Just keep this information from Emma for now.
Here, maybe you should hold on to this.
Oh, what? Why does it have Emma's fucking prints? Okay. That's not what I expected at all from that. At all. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier, Oh, it's you two, Chief Gant! Put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading.
This looks like a list of evidence.
List of evidence?
In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Cell 9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here.
Hold on, Detective. What did you just say?
I said, I wonder what.
No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long.
That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence.
A half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seemed too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got.
Well, was I any help?
Of course! Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat?
To Chief Gant!
We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective.
Do you mean me, sir?
Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat.
Me, sir.
Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore.
But, sir.
Now get out.
Yes, sir.
We'll be on our way too, then. Wait. You, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright!
Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you?
I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired.
Yeah, but if I knew I'd be like this, I never would have said it.
Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent? But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time?
Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth the things over with the chief again. Later, pal.
After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions. She'll be busy for the rest of the day. February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room. I see. But the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. He had died. He had died? I mean, yes, but that's not what the words say on the screen. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. Seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. Certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Bruce Goodman! Can I just, like, present anyone? It's definitely Emma, guys. It's definitely Emma. She is so freaking terrified, dude.
Take that!
Well, Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I think she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was... me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Can I, like, actually look at the list? Oh, shit, what the hell? Can we just look at this real quick? Picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. I have a very bad feeling about this. Okay. Good thing I looked at that, by the way. Let's start with the vase, or the jar.
Take that!
I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece, and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. As you surmised, cannot disobey the chief's orders. Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, and say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Expected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. Trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken. I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. Murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. Knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. Couldn't just leave that knife in him. So I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. Would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. That is the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes. Seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then you saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Star, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. Word got out, which it would. Reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister. Tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lena's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. Bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. Phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. A Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seemed he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. Wow.
Man. Is on me, Keiko, brother.
I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lena, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and as an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lena's demons. Gotta get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. What went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? To be continued. And that is going to be the absolute perfect spot, everybody, to go ahead and end for today. So we will start the final trial day, hopefully tomorrow, assuming everything goes right and I, am awake and a person. Those are all things. So hopefully tomorrow we will start the final trial of this case and, incriminate a police chief on murder. Probably. We'll see. Thank you all again for watching. Thank you for hanging out as always. Much love to all of you guys. I will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. Likely, hopefully. If anything does happen, be sure to join my Discord so you can get announcements as to if things happen, such as me being too tired from work to do things, etc., or falling asleep, all that good stuff, because it happens. So, we shall see. So thank you all again. See you all tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, and have a great rest of your night. Goodbye, everybody. Also, hi, kitty, bye, kitty. Also, thank you, Hang Chizui. Hello and goodbye. Goodbye, lurkers.